Opening scene the story begins with the Kralvin, Empire's war fleet, detecting an unknown vessel drifting near the edge of contested space. Commander Vex, a veteran military officer of the Empire, orders his crew to perform a standard scan of the mysterious ship. The vessel appears small and unremarkable, a simple cargo transport with outdated hull plating. The scan anomaly. When the Kralvin scanning array locks onto the human ship, something impossible happens. The readout flickers. Numbers cascade across the screen in patterns that violate known physics. Energy signatures spike to impossible levels, then drop to zero, then spike again. The ship's mass readings fluctuate wildly one moment, showing the vessel as lighter than air, the next registering it as dense as a collapsed star. The Kralvin technicians believe their equipment is malfunctioning. They run diagnostics. Everything checks out. They scan again. The same impossible results appear. First contact attempt. Commander Vex decides to hail the vessel. A human voice responds, calm, almost bored. Captain Miller identifies himself as a freight hauler carrying mining equipment to a colony world. He sounds confused about why a military fleet has stopped him. The Kralvin demand the human ship power down and prepare for boarding. They've never encountered this species before, and the scan anomalies suggest dangerous technology. Captain Miller sighs audibly over the comm channel. He tells them this is a mistake. He warns them not to send anyone over. The boarding party. Commander Vex ignores the warning. He dispatches a team of 12 elite soldiers to board the human vessel. As their shuttle approaches, the scan readings intensify. Reality itself seems to shimmer around the human ship like heat waves rising from hot metal. The Kralvin soldiers enter through the cargo bay airlock. Inside, they find exactly what Captain Miller claimed: rows of mining equipment, spare parts, and supply crates. Nothing seems unusual. The soldiers spread out to search the ship. Reality begins to break. The first soldier rounds a corner and sees a hallway that shouldn't exist. According to the ship's layout, that corridor is an exterior wall. He radios this information. 2 other soldiers report finding rooms that occupy the same physical space. The ship's interior is larger than its exterior, impossible, yet undeniable. One soldier reaches for a door panel. His hand passes through it like smoke. He tries again. This time the panel is solid. A third attempt, and his hand phases through again. He backs away, fear creeping into his voice over the comm channel. The humans. Warning. Captain Miller's voice comes over the boarding team's radio. He sounds tired, resigned. He explains that human ships aren't built like alien vessels. Humans don't use normal matter for their hulls. They don't use standard engines. They discovered something during their early space exploration, a way to exist partially outside normal space. The Kralvin commander demands answers. What technology is this? What weapons does the ship possess? Captain Miller laughs without humor. It's not a weapon, he says. It's just how human ships work. They exist in multiple states simultaneously. Quantum uncertainty taken to its logical extreme. The glitch escalates inside the ship. The boarding party experiences worse anomalies. A soldier sees himself walk past from a different direction. Another finds a room filled with copies of the same crate, infinite duplicates, stretching into impossible distance. Time begins to desync. One soldier's radio transmissions arrive before he speaks. Another ages several seconds, while everyone else experiences a single moment. The team leader orders an immediate retreat. But when they return to the airlock, it's no longer where they entered. The ship's layout has changed. Corridors lead to rooms they've already searched, but different versions of those rooms. Some filled with cargo, some empty, some sealed with ice, some burning with fire. The revelation. Captain Miller's voice remains steady over the radio. He tells them to stay calm. The ship is reacting to their presence foreign matter that doesn't exist in the same quantum state. The vessel is trying to categorize them and failing. He can guide them out, but they must follow his instructions exactly. Commander Vex, watching from his flagship, sees his scan readings spiral into complete chaos. The human ship now registers as being in 7 different locations simultaneously. Its mass reads as both positive and negative. Energy signatures suggest it's producing power equal to a small star, while simultaneously consuming nothing. Closing as Part 1 ends. Commander Vex realizes the Cralvan Empire has encountered something beyond their understanding. These humans don't just travel through space, they break the rules that govern reality itself. Asterisk. The extraction attempt. Commander Vex watches his screens with growing dread as Captain Miller guides the boarding team through the shifting corridors of the human ship. The human's voice remains calm, almost casual, as he directs the soldiers. Turn left at the junction. No, your other left. The left that exists right now, not the one you see. The Cralvan soldiers stumble through impossible geometry. Lieutenant Karn, the team leader, reports that walls are breathing. Not metaphorically, the metal expands and contracts like living tissue. Another soldier, Private Dex, screams suddenly. He's stuck halfway through a floor panel that phased solid while he was stepping through it. His leg exists in 2 different states of matter simultaneously. The human arrives. Captain Miller appears in the corridor ahead of them. He's a middle-aged man wearing a simple jumpsuit, carrying a tool case. He walks through the chaos as if strolling through a garden. The reality distortions part around him like water around a stone. He kneels beside Private Dex and pulls a small device from his tool case. "This is going to feel weird," he says. He presses the device against the floor. The metal shimmers, and suddenly Dex's leg is free. The soldier scrambles backward, eyes wide with terror. Miller helps him stand. "Your people really should have listened," he says without anger. "Human ships aren't safe for normal matter. We exist in what we call flex space. It's cheaper than building traditional vessels, but it has side effects." Questions and answers. Lieutenant Karn demands answers. What are humans? What kind of species builds ships that break reality? Miller shrugs. "We're just people trying to survive. We discovered flex space technology about 200 years ago. Changed everything. Made space travel affordable. Also made it really strange." He leads the boarding party through a doorway. They step into the ship's bridge, a surprisingly normal room with standard controls and a worn captain's chair. Here, reality seems stable. Miller explains that crew quarters exist in fixed space, anchored to normal reality. "We have to sleep somewhere that doesn't shift dimensions," he says. "Otherwise, you wake up as 17 different versions of yourself." Commander Vex's voice crackles through the comm channel. He wants to know if this technology is a weapon. Could humans use it against the Cralvan Empire? Miller looks at the radio with something like pity in his eyes. "The truth about humanity. You think we're a threat," Miller says slowly. "You think this is some advanced military tech. But, Commander, this is our civilian transport. This is the cheap option. This is what we use when we can't afford better." The Cralvan soldiers exchange glances. Lieutenant Karn asks the obvious question. If this is the cheap option, what do human military ships look like? Miller doesn't answer directly. Instead, he pulls up a star chart on his console. He points to a region of space marked in red. 3 years ago, one of your Empire's scout fleets entered this sector. They found a human research vessel. They scanned it, just like you scanned me. He zooms in on the sector. The entire region shows as blank space. Now, no stars, no planets, no matter of any kind. The scan caused a cascade reaction. The research ship was running experiments with deeper flex space integration. When your people hit it with high-energy sensors, it collapsed. Took 100 cubic light years of normal space with it. Just ... deleted it from reality. The bridge falls silent. Commander Vex's voice comes through quietly. You're saying your ship could do the same? The warning Miller shakes his head. No, my ship is stable, mostly, but you need to understand something about humanity. We don't exist in your reality anymore. Not completely. Every human colony, every station, every vessel, we're all partially phased out of normal space. It's how we survived, how we expanded so quickly. He brings up another chart showing human territory. The Cralvan soldiers see dozens of colony worlds, hundreds of stations, thousands of ships, all existing in flex space, all potentially unstable if disturbed. We're not your enemy, Miller continues. But we're not something you can fight either. You can't wage war against people who don't fully exist in your dimension. Your weapons would pass right through us. Your fleets would get lost in the spaces between our spaces. New Prospective Lieutenant Karn asks why Miller is telling them this. Why reveal human capabilities? Miller's expression turns serious. Because your empire needs to know the truth before you make a terrible mistake. Humans aren't conquerors. We're not interested in your territory. We just want to be left alone in our strange little corner of reality. He gestures to the airlock. I'm going to send you back now. Your shuttle still exists in normal space. You'll be fine once you leave my ship. But when you report to your superiors, tell them this. Humanity doesn't want contact. We don't want conflict. We just want to drift through our flex space in peace. The return asterisk. The boarding party moves toward the airlock. The corridors remain stable now that Miller guides them. As they reach their shuttle, reality snaps back into normal parameters. The Cralvan soldiers practically run on to their vessel, desperate to escape the impossible geometry of the human ship. Closing as the shuttle returns to the Cralvan flagship, Commander Vex stares at the human ship on his view screen. The scan readings have stabilized into something even more disturbing. The ship now registers as existing in every possible state simultaneously. Present and absent, matter and energy, real and unreal. He realizes the Cralvan Empire has just encountered something that challenges their understanding of existence itself. Humans haven't just mastered space travel. They've evolved beyond normal reality. Asterisk. The Council meets 3 days after the encounter. Commander Vex stands before the Cralvan High Council on the Empire's capital world. The council chamber is vast, filled with the Empire's most powerful leaders. They have read his report. They have seen the scan data. Now they demand explanations. Council leader Morn speaks first. His voice echoes through the chamber. You claim this human vessel violated the laws of physics. You claim their technology makes them immune to attack. These are extraordinary claims. Vex displays the footage from the boarding party. The council watches in silence as Cralvan soldiers stumble through impossible corridors. They see walls breathing. They see private decks trapped in solid matter. They see Captain Miller walking through reality distortions as if they don't exist. The debate. Some council members dismiss the evidence. General Yan insists it must be illusions or holograms. No species could actually break reality itself. He argues for immediate military action against human space. They are few in number, he says. We must strike before they grow stronger. But Science Director Rao disagrees. She has studied the scan data extensively. The readings are genuine. The energy patterns are real. This is not technology as we understand it, she explains. Humans have found a way to exist partially outside our dimension. They don't break the laws of physics. They simply don't live entirely within those laws anymore. Council Leader Morn asks the critical question. Can the Cralvan Empire defeat humanity in war? The chamber falls silent. No one wants to answer. Captain Miller's message suddenly. Every display screen in the council chamber activates simultaneously. Captain Miller's face appears on all of them. The council members jump to their feet in shock. The chamber is supposed to be completely secure. No outside transmission should be possible. Miller smiles apologetically. Sorry for the intrusion. Your security is excellent, by the way. I'm not actually broadcasting to you. I'm just existing in the same space as your screens. Flex space makes that easy. He continues before anyone can respond. I know you're debating what to do about humanity. I know some of you want war. So I'm here to show you why that's a bad idea. The demonstration Miller touches something off-screen. Suddenly, the council chamber's windows show a view of space. But it's wrong. 3 Kralvin military stations orbit the capital world. Now there are 6 stations, then 12, then hundreds, all identical, all occupying the same orbital path. These aren't real, Miller explains. They're probability echoes. All the possible positions your stations could occupy if reality worked slightly differently. I'm just making those possibilities visible. The duplicates vanish. The 3 original stations remain. Now imagine a human warship, Miller continues. Not a cargo hauler like mine, a real military vessel. They can make those probability echoes real. They can create fleets from nothing. They can exist in 1,000 places at once. They can make your weapons miss because they're not quite in normal space when the projectiles arrive. General Jan demands to know if this is a threat. Miller shakes his head. No, it's a warning. Humanity doesn't want to fight you. But if you force us to defend ourselves, you'll be fighting an enemy that doesn't play by your rules of warfare. The offer Miller's expression softens. Here's what I propose instead. Leave us alone. Don't enter our space. Don't scan our ships. In return, we'll stay out of your territory. We have no interest in your worlds. We don't need them. We live in spaces you can't even access. He pauses. But if you insist on conflict, understand this. You won't be fighting a war. You'll be fighting reality itself. And reality doesn't care about military tactics or superior numbers. Science Director Rao asks a question. How did humanity discover this technology? What made them so different from other species? Miller's smile turns sad. We nearly destroyed ourselves. Wars, pollution, resource depletion. We were dying on our homeworld. We had to find a new way to exist or face extinction. Desperation made us creative. We started experimenting with quantum theory, with ways to exist outside normal space. And we succeeded. Maybe too well. The choice. So now we're here, Miller continues. We're ghosts living between dimensions. We're stable enough to survive, but we'll never fully exist in your reality again. We gave up being normal to stay alive. Council Leader Morn asks for time to consider. Miller nods. Take all the time you need, but know this, I'm not special. Every human civilian can do what I do. Every human ship works like mine. Some are much more advanced. If you attack us, you won't be fighting soldiers. You'll be fighting ordinary people who exist partially outside your universe. His image flickers. I hope you choose peace, because war with humanity wouldn't be a battle. It would be a descent into chaos. Resolution, the transmission ends. The council chamber erupts in debate. Some members still argue for military action. Others insist on caution. But slowly, a consensus forms. Council Leader Morn calls for silence. The Kralvin Empire has faced many enemies, he says. We have conquered worlds. We have defeated fleets. But we have never encountered an enemy we could not touch, could not track, could not truly fight. He looks at Commander Vex. Your recommendation, Commander? Vex thinks of Captain Miller walking through reality distortions. He thinks of his soldiers trapped in impossible geometry. He thinks of an entire sector of space deleted from existence. Establish a border, he says. Mark human space as forbidden territory. Any ship that enters faces unknown hazards. Any commander who attacks takes responsibility for the consequences. The Council votes. The motion passes almost unanimously. Epilogue far away, on his cargo ship. Captain Miller receives confirmation that the Kralvin Empire has agreed to peaceful separation. He sets course for human space, his vessel phasing through layers of reality as it accelerates. Behind him, the Kralvin fleet maintains a respectful distance. They watch the human ship flicker in and out of their sensors until it vanishes completely, existing somewhere between dimensions where normal matter cannot follow. Commander Vex makes a final log entry. First contact with humanity complete. Recommendation: avoid future interaction. They are not hostile. They are simply beyond our ability to comprehend or combat. Let them drift in their strange spaces. Let us remain in ours. The Kralvin Empire marks human territory with warning beacons. Other species learn to do the same. And humanity continues its quiet expansion through flex space, existing partially outside reality, content to remain ghosts in the cosmic machine. The end asterisk.